Today we're doing lesson 4.15, nearest multiples of 1,000, 10,000, and 100,000. So we've done the math warm-up. We found out that the nearest, or the best estimate for that point was 600. Now we are on page 169. It says closer to this or that. Answer each question. Use the number lines if they are helpful. So, A says, is 16 closer to 10 or 20? So if you raise your hand to answer, I want you to be able to tell me why. Emma, is 16 closer to 10 or 20?
20 because if you have 16 and 6, it's farther away from 1 and it's closer to 2 and it's just like the same thing.
Okay, and it's bigger than, so right in the middle between 10 and 20 would be what number? Right smack in the middle. 15. And since 16 is bigger than 15, it's more than the middle, so it's closer to 20. Very good. Emma, you can give yourself a point. Okay, so circle that 20. All right. Now we started with 16. Now they're adding an 8 in front of it. So is 816 closer to 800 or 900? Evan?
800
How do you know?
because it's lower than 50.
850, right? Okay, very good. Because right in the middle between 800 and 900 would be 850, and 16 is less than 816 is less than 850, so it's going to fall on the smaller side of the number one. Okay, next they add a 3,000 in front. So is 3,816 closer to 3,000 or 4,000? Autrey?
4,000
How do you know?
because 816 is more than 500.
Yep, because right in the middle of this would be 3,500. And since 816 is bigger than that, it's going to fall on the 4,000 side. Is 73,816 closer to 70,000 or 80,000? Jackson?
70,000
How do you know?
because it's under 500. It's under 5 basically.
It's under 5, so if it's kind of difficult sometimes when we start to get into bigger numbers to figure out what's in the middle. So what I recommend is if you are looking at that going, where do I add the 5 kind of thing, you can take off the last zeros and say, okay, what's halfway between 70 and 80?
50.
Nope, between 70 and 80. It's got that 5 in it. 75, right? So 75, and then we add the 3 zeros back on. So between 70,000 and 80,000, right in the middle would be 75. And like you said, Jackson, the 73 is less than 75. All right, give yourself a point. All right, so it's going to be closer to 70,000. All right, on the next one we have 573,816. Colton, would that be closer to 500,000 or 600,000? Would this number be closer to 500 or 600,000?
600.
How do you know?
Because if you look at the 10, the 7's bigger than the 5, so it'd be closer to 600 than 500.
Okay, are you saying that
The 7,
The 7 tells the 5 to go
Yep.
up. Okay, all right. Yep, so it would be closer to 600,000. Because if you're trying to figure out what's in the middle, so if you're trying to place 573,816 between 500,000 and 600,000, between 500 and 600, what would be right in the middle between 500 and 600, Todd? 550 and 1,000. So if we look at this, this is 573, so it's going to be bigger, right? All right, so it helps me sometimes when I'm dealing with big numbers like this to take chunks of them. So to take off those zeros, if you're trying to find numbers on a number line, you can also, well, I'll show you that in a minute. Okay, next page. It says for 816, the nearest multiple of 1,000 is 1,000. The nearest multiple of 100 is 800. And the nearest multiple of 10 is 820. I think these are a little bit tougher to figure out what's before and what's after a number. What number comes before and after it. If you're counting by tens, if you're counting by 100s. So, for example, 816, they have told us the nearest multiple of 1,000. So if you're counting by 1,000s, we would start at 0. And what's the first 1,000 that we say? 1,000, right? So if we're going 0, 1,000, 2,000, 3,000, blah, 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 and we're wanting to find out where 816 would go, well, it would be somewhere between 0 and 1,000, right? And what number's in the middle? Devin? Between 0 and 1,000.
500.
500, good Devin, yes. And we know 800's bigger than 500, or 800's bigger, so 816 would be closest to 1,000. Then if we're counting by hundreds, so think for a minute what hundreds 816 would be between. 100, 200, 300, 400. What 200s would 816 be between? Avis?
800 and 900.
Exactly right. 800 and 900. And then, of course, what would be in the middle? Autrey?
850.
850. And that's exactly right. And so 816 is smaller than this number, so that means it's going to be closer to 800. You with me on that? Making sense?
Yes.
Z, is it making sense? Okay. All right. And then if you're counting by tens, okay? So 10, 20, 30, we get up to 800. 810, 820. So those are the two multiples of 10. And I know they're multiples of 10 because what do they end in? 0. 1 0, right? When we're counting by tens, they're going to end in 1 0. So what would be right in the middle between 810 and 820? Jackson?
815.
815. So since 815 is, or 16 is bigger than 815, that means it's closer to 820. See how you do this?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, all right. Now it says complete the table with the nearest multiple of 10, 100, 1,000, 10,000, and 100,000 for each number. They have some numbers on that chart that they have put lines in. We're not going to put any numbers in those. So it's just the blanks. Okay, so The first number they give us is 16, and they want to know is 16 what 10 number, what multiple of 10 that 16 is closest to. So if we're counting by 10s, we would go 10, 20, 30, dot, dot, dot. Which one of those is 16 the closest to? Ari? 20. That's exactly right. So put that down next to, in that first space, put down 20. Okay. And that's the only one that they want us to fill in on that one. Then they add an 8 in front of the 16. And they have shown us that the nearest 10 is 820. The nearest 100 is 800, and the nearest 1,000 is 1,000. Then we're going to add a 3,000 in front. And we've got to do 3 of these numbers. So I'm going to write it 3 times. 3,816, 3,816, 3,816. Now, we're going to start with the tens. So this is the tens place. So what, if you're counting by tens, what tens would be in front of and behind 3,816? Harbor, what do you think? You having a little trouble? Okay, so if you look, this is the way I do it, because this is tricky for me. I'm like, I can't think what 10 is in front of a random number, okay? So here's what I do. I underline the tens place, and then I extend that line all the way to the front. Do you see how I've underlined 381? Okay? And then I'm going to turn this 6 into a 0 because it has to be a 10. 10s end with a 0. So 3, 8, 1, 0. What is one number? So look at what I've got underlined, 381. What's one number bigger than 381? Yes, 382. And then I have to add that 0. Does that make sense? I use the numbers they gave me to help me figure it out. And we'll do more because I know, Evan, it's a little bit tricky. Okay, so look at what we've got. You see how this starts with a 38, got a 38, we got a 38. All we're looking at now is 10, 16, and 20. Is 16 going to be closer to 10 or 20? Herbert? 20. Okay? So here's what we're going to do. We're going to write down 3, 8, 2, 0. 3,820 on this one. Okay. On the next one, we're going to round to the nearest hundredths place. Okay, so I'm going to underline my hundredths digit and forward. So I've got, do you guys remember before break I told you that we could replace 2 zeros with the word 100? We could replace 1 0 with the word 10 and all of that. So the 100, that would be before 3,816, would be 3,800. And what's one more than 38?
39.
3,900. Okay? Is 3,816, does that fall between these two numbers? Uh-huh.
Yes.
And, whoops, is it going to be closer? Is 3,816 going to be closer to 3,800 or 3,900? Jackson?
3,800.
Because what would be right in the middle here, Jackson? What do you think?
3,850.
Yes, you're exactly right. So right in the middle would be 3,850. And you know that 3,816 is smaller than that, right? So very good, Jackson. All right, so 3,800 is the closer one on that one. Okay, so we did that one, we did that one. Okay, and now we've got to do the thousands place. So this number, if I round it down, all of these numbers would turn into zeros, making it 3,000. What's one more thousand than 3,000? Autrey? 4,000. Okay, so got a number line here. What would be right in the middle between 3,000 and 4,000? Fisher?
3,500.
Yes, 3,500. So knowing that, is 3,816 going to be closer to 3,000 or 4,000? Evan? 4,000. Because it's got an 8 right here, which is bigger than a 5 right here, right? Very good. 4,000. Need something, Todd?
I was just doing the question.
Okay. All right. On the next one, they add a 7 in front, making it, and they want us to find 5 of these. Okay, we can do it. 73, 816, 73, 816, 73, 816, 73, 816, 73, 816. Okay, first we gotta go to the tens. So here's my tens. This is the hard one. You watching?
Yes.
I underline the tens place and all the way in front of it. I have 7381. So 7381, and that 6 turns into a 0. What is one more than 7381? Avis?
7380.
Yes. 7382, add a 0. Okay. Does that number fall between these two numbers? 73,816 between 810 and 820? Yep. Okay. So if we found the middle point, we've got 810 and 820. What would be in the middle? Emma? You got it. 1,000. So look at what we've got. What is halfway between 810 and 820? Yeah, you got it, girl. 815. So 73,815. That's in the middle. 16 is bigger or smaller than the middle? Bigger than the middle by 1, right? So the answer we need to write down, 73,820. Okay, here we go. Now we gotta find the hundreds. So I'm gonna start, Devin, by underlining the hundreds place forward. Hundreds place forward. 738. 738 with 2 zeros behind it. 1, 2. What is one more, Devin, than 738?
74.
Nope, nope. So if you're counting by ones, so you say 735, 736, 737, 738.
739.
It is 739 with my 2 zeros added on. Put in my commas. Now, what would be right in the middle between 73,800 and 73,900? Emma?
7,015.
It's going to be bigger than this, but smaller than this. What number is right in the middle, Emma, between 800 and 900? See, I think you got it. 850. So 73,000 stay the same. 850. Does that make sense? So earlier I was talking about how you can take off the zeros to make it a smaller number and just put them back on. When you've got numbers like this, where you've got a 73, a 73, and a 73, you can kind of get rid of those temporarily. So you're only looking at finding 816 between 800 and 900. So yeah, just making it a little smaller can kind of help. So, Olivia, we know the middle is 73,850, or just 850 for now. Is 816 bigger or smaller than 850? Smaller. So that means it's going to be closer to this one. Does that make sense? All right, good. Give yourself a point. Okay, so we're going to write down 73,800. Okay. All right, Zerelda, you're helping me with this one. Okay, you ready? Okay, what's in the thousands place of this number? Or what digits in the thousands place?
3.
3. So here's what I'm going to do, Zerelda. I'm going to underline the 3 forward. So it's 73. What is one number bigger than 73?
8.
Nope, if you're counting by ones, so you say 70, 71, 72, 73.
74.
74. So 74 is what's next. Then we've got to add on our 3 zeros. So now, is 73,816, is it between 73 and 74,000?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. What would be right in the middle between 73,000 and 74,000? Hazel. Yes. Very good. 73,500. Okay. Because we know that the difference in these is 1,000. Half of 1,000 is 500. So we just stick on an extra 500. Now, is this number bigger or smaller than this number? Jackson?
Bigger.
Bigger. So that means it's going to round up to 74,000. Okay. Next, we're doing the 10,000s. So that's this number. So we have 7. What comes after 7, Evan? 8. That's a tough one. All right. And how many digits are after our 7? Shout it out. 4. So I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, 4 zeros. 1, 2, 3, 4 zeros. 70 and 80,000. Is that what, if we're counting by 10,000, are we eventually going to say 70,000? Yep. And 80,000? Yep. What's in the middle between 70,000 and 80,000? Macy. What's right smack in the middle between 70 and 80? What's right in the middle? Yes, 75. You little whisper girls. Whisper girls. 75. You're right, Macy. So right in the middle between 70,000 and 80,000 is 75,000. Now, Macy, is this number up here bigger or smaller than 75,000? smaller. So that means this is our answer. You guys following me?
Yes.
Okay. All right, so 70,000. Last one is the nearest 100,000. Now, we don't have a digit in the 100,000s place, so that's like basically a 0. And what's 1 bigger than 0? 1. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So is 73,816, is it between 0 and 100,000? Yes. And what would be smack in the middle between 0 and 100,000? Mary? It is 50,000. Good, Mary. And so is this number bigger or smaller than 50,000? Mary? Bigger. So that means that is our answer. 100,000. All right. All right. One more. I've made a big old mess of all my numbers. Okay. So now we're going to do the same thing we just did with those, except for this time they've got a 5 in front of them and are in the 100,000s place. And if I hadn't made a big mess of my numbers, I could have just used the same numbers. So 573,816. 573,816. 573,816. 573,816. And 573,816. Okay. Starting with the tens place. What digit is in the tens place? Shout it out.
1.
What digit's in the tens place?
1.
1. So I'm going to underline 1 forward. 57382. 57382. What comes after 57382?
57383.
Yes. 57383. But I gotta add a 0 on both of these. Okay. You with me? Okay. So 573, 573, 573. Those are all the same on all of them. So let's just look at the ending. Does 816 go between 820 and 830?
No.
Oh, we made a mistake, didn't we?
No.
I made a mistake.
It's
Good catch, Avis. Okay, what should it be instead of 20 and 30? Autrey?
10 and 20.
Yes, good. All right, Avis, I'm so glad you caught that. Give yourself a point for doing that. You're exactly right. That was my bad. I jumped ahead, or I increased it instead of just copying it down. That's what I did.
I thought it was like a trick question.
I mean, that's the whole time it was intentional. Okay, is 816 going to be closer to 810 or 820? Jackson?
820.
Yep. So here's what we're going to write down. 573,820. 573,820. Okay. On the next one, we're doing the hundreds place. So what digits in the hundreds place? Devin?
8.
8, yes. So I'm going to underline the 8 forward. 5, 7, 3, 8. What's one more than 5, 7, 3, 8? Harbor.
579.
Yes, it is. 5, 7, 3, 9. Okay, now, how many digits were after that 8? 2. So I'm gonna add 2 zeros. Okay, and that makes sense because we're on 100, right? So that if we're counting by 100, it'll have 2 zeros at the end. Okay, so now I'm gonna plug in my commas. So is 573,816 gonna be closer to 800 or 900? Todd? Is it gonna be closer to the one that ends in 800 or the one that ends in 900?
573,800.
You're right, because it's only 16 more than this one, but it would take us like 84 away from this one. Or we'd have to add 84. We'd only have to go down by 16. So 573,800. 573,800. Okay. Very good. Next, thousands. Fisher, what digit is in the thousands place on this number? 3. So I'm going to underline the 3 forward. 573. Olivia, what's one more than 573? Yep, 574. How many digits are after it? 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. So now, is this number going to be closer to 573 or 574? Which one do you think? Ari? 574, because this guy right here is an 8, and in the middle would be 573, 500, right? And 8 in the hundreds place means it's closer to the 4. So write down 574,000. Okay. Next. Zorelli, you keeping up with writing these down? Okay, good deal. On the next one, we're in the 10,000s place. Todd, what digit's in the 10,000s place?
7.
Yes, very good. So 7 forward, so that's 57. What's next? Devin? After 57 comes?
58.
Yes. 58, and then there's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. So, is 573,816 closer to 570,000 or 580,000? Athena, what do you think? So we're looking for 573. Is it going to be closer to 570 or 580?
5, 7.
And how do you know?
Because 3 is less than 5.
Bingo. Nice job. Yes. 570,000. Okay. Next. 100,000s place. What digit's in the 100,000s place? Colton, what digit's in the 100,000s place?
5.
Yep, it's a 5. So I'm going to put a 5 here. What comes after 5?
6.
How many numbers after? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 500,000, 600,000. Harbor, is this number going to be closer to 500,000 or 600,000? 600,000, because right here you've got a 7, and that's bigger than a 5. All right, very good. 600,000. All right, very good, guys. Okay, next page. Closer to which number? All right, we're gonna go kind of quick on this page. Answer each question, label and use the number lines if they are helpful. Is 425,193 closer to 400,000 or 500,000? Todd, what do you think?
400.
Good work.
Because the 10 spaces have 5.
It's smaller, right?
Yeah.
Very good. The 10,000s place, you've got a 2 here.
10,000 space would not be a 0. It would be a 0, but it's a 5.
So this is the main one we need to look at since that's a 2, which is smaller than a 5. We round down. All right, very good. On the next one, is this number closer to 420,000 or 430,000? Ari, you're right. How do you know? What number would be right in the middle between 420 and 430,000? 425,000. And since this has this extra on top of it, plus it's got a 5, we round up, right? Okay, good. 430,000, circle that. Because you're rounding it behind again. We've got 2 numbers to circle. Okay. Is this number closer to 425 or 426? Devin.
425.
Yes. Because in the middle between 425 and 426 would be 425,500. And the 100 is smaller, so you're right. We're going to round down. Okay. On D, it says, is this number closer to this or this? Jackson?
425, 200.
Don't forget the word
And
1,000.
that 425,200.
There you go. Yes, you're right. Because all 3 of these start with 425, so all we're looking at is 193 closer to 100 or 200? And 193 is almost 200, right? Okay, on the last one of these, we've got 425, 425, 425. So we're trying to decide, is 193 closer to 190 or 200? Macy? So is 193 closer to 190 or 200? Yes, 190. Because it's only 3 away from this one, but it would be 7 to get to this one. All right, last page. No, we've got 2 more pages. What? Yeah. 2? I know, I told you it's a long one. But we're moving quick. Okay. And something's happening to my screen here.
Turn it up a little bit.
And nothing I'm doing is working. Alright, let me try to refresh it. Alright, there we go.
Yes.
But everything I've written down on that is gone now. Okay, come on, come on, come on, come on. Alright, here we go. For the number 425,193, the nearest multiple of 100,000 is what? Davis.
400,000.
Yes, 400,000. Okay. For the nearest multiple of 10,000 would be what? Haziel? Mary?
30,000.
With the 4 in front.
400.
There you go, 430,000. There you go. Okay, what would be the nearest multiple of 1,000? Jackson?
4,000.
No.
5,000.
We got to keep the beginning of the number the same.
So 425,000.
Yes, 425,000. Our options there are, wait. I think that's right. Hang on, let me think for a minute. So it would be between 425,000 and 426,000. So in the middle would be 425,000. Yes, you're right. Okay. Okay, the nearest multiple of 100. Devin?
400,000.
No. So Devin, what we're looking at is for the beginning to stay the same, and it's either going to be 425,100 or 425,200. Which would be closer?
25?
So is 193 closer to 100 or 200?
400? No, wait, 200.
It would be 200. So 425,200. And then the last one is going to be, your options are 425,190 or 425,200. Which is it closer to? Harbor. Yes. 425,190. Okay. All right, get that down. You've missed the last two. Stop messing with stuff. Okay, last page. What's the nearest multiple? Okay, some people got behind on writing. Go quick. Quick. 425,000. Okay. You forgot the 0 at the end of that one. There you go. Okay, did you get it? Okay, you get it from Todd, those are all the. Okay, what's the nearest multiple? For the number 136,850, Han can name the nearest multiple of 100,000, 10,000, and 1,000. Okay, he doesn't have a problem doing that. He's stuck when getting to the nearest 100. Okay, so this is Han, poor Han, and I want to see if you guys can figure out why he's stuck. If he can do the 100,000 and the 10,000 and the 1,000, okay, but why he's stuck on the hundreds. All right, so let's see, you guys can take this and go ahead and go. Do 173, here, go that way because my videos are going. 173, Olivia and Cameron go that way. And 184, number 4. Okay, take that to Miss. Okay, go. All right, here we go.
But this is my.
I know, I saw that you had 4. I will remember. Okay, 136850. 136850. 136850. 136850. Okay. So for the nearest 100,000, it says in the table, write the nearest multiples Han knows. Why would it, for these 3? Okay, so this one we have to round to the nearest 100,000. This one is the nearest 10,000. This one is the nearest 1,000. Okay. What would this number be between? Ari, will you go pull the door shut? Devin?
140,000.
Okay, so you're rounding to the nearest 10,000.
Oh.
So Devin, first we're gonna underline the 100,000s place, which has a 1 in it. What number comes after 1?
2.
2. So we're gonna make that a 1 if we round it down and a 2 if we round it up. And then how many numbers follow it? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we're gonna put 5 zeros after both. You with me? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. Is 136,850 closer to 100,000 or 200,000? Fisher?
100,000.
Yes. It's closer to 100,000. So that's the first answer in this space. 100,000. Okay. So that was no problem. Now we're going to go to the 10,000s place. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to underline the 10,000s place and then forward. So we have 13. What comes after 13? 14. 14. Okay. How many numbers are after?
4.
4. I'll get it in a minute. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So we need to decide whether our number is closer to 130,000 or 140,000. Macy, what do you think? Is 136,000 closer to 130,000 or 140,000? No, because what's in the middle between 130 and 140? 135. And this is bigger, so it's going to be closer to 140. Does that make sense? Okay. So write this down, 140,000. Now, 1,000. Okay. I underline the thousands forward. 136. What comes next?
137.
137. How many digits after?
3.
3. Okay. So is right in the middle would be 136,500. 136. So is 136,850 closer to 136,000 or 137,000? Audrey.
137,000.
Yes, because this 8 is bigger than this 5. 137,000. Now, he had trouble on the next one, and I want to see if you can figure out why. He had trouble on the hundreds place. Okay. We have a number line. We're trying to find 136,850, the nearest hundreds place. So I underlined 1368. 1368. What comes after it?
136.
Yes. How many zeros? 2. Okay. And then I'm gonna plug in my commas. Now, what goes right smack in the middle, Avis? 850. 136,850. Guess what our number is? 850. So you know this whole time I've been saying, Athena, which is it closer to? Which is it closer to?
Both.
Equal, right? So that's why he's stuck, Emma. That's why he's stuck, because the number that we have to find out is right smack in the middle. But what do you know about numbers in the middle? What do you do with numbers in the middle? Which way do they go? Jackson?
They go to the higher side.
They go to the higher side. They round up because 5 or more raise the score. And this is a 5. So here's what I want you to write down for B. Because 136,850 is right in the middle of 136,800 and 136,900, that's why I had trouble. And it would be 136,900 because 5's round up. And we're gonna go on ahead, just for the sake of the video, and do that last part, and then I'll put this back up so you guys will have an opportunity to copy it down if you don't get finished. Okay, now we've got one more table to do. And on the table is 191,530. How many times should I write that? How many numbers do we have to find?
4.
4?
Yeah.
4. Okay. And we gotta find the nearest 100,000, 10,000. So this is gonna be the nearest 100,000, 10,000, 1,000, and 100. Okay, here we go. 1, 2. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, is that number closer to 100,000 or 200,000? Shout it out.
200,000.
200,000. Wake up, guys. I know it's been a long lesson, but give me 5 more minutes and we'll be done. Okay? Okay, on the next one, 10,000's place. We're going to write it in a minute. Right now, I just want you guys to focus. Okay. 9 forward. 19,000.
19.
What comes after 19?
20.
20. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Boom. 1, 2, 3, 4. Boom. Okay, is 191,530 closer to 190 or 200,000? Jackson?
100,000.
Nope. 191 is closer to 190. Okay, on the next one, we're going to underline 191. What comes after 191?
192.
Yes, Devin. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Comma, comma. Okay. Which is it closer to? Athena. Hood off, please. Which is it closest to? 191,530. Is it closer to 191,000 or 192,000? you got red, that means you can look in any of the baskets for accident. Okay. All right, so I just added some cool stuff. I got these poppers. I also have these like things. So you can choose one thing out of any of the baskets. All right, going for the sweet sugar. All right, thank you, buddy. Happy birthday. Okay. This video is going to be like 2 hours long. Okay, which is the closest?
192,000.
Yes, because you've got a 5, which means you round up, but you've also got 30 extra. So yes, good, Athena. Okay, last one of these, we've got the hundredths place. So 1915, 1916, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, commas. Hey, which one's it closer to? Devin. The first one or the second one?
The first one?
The first one. Because 530 is only 30 away from this, but it's 70 away from this. Okay, so this is what you should write down for this one. 200,000, 190,000, 192,000, 191,500. And then the other number is 70,500. 70,500, 70,500, 70,500, 70,500. Okay, for the sake of time, I'm going to go through this super fast. Okay, so the 100,000s place is right here, which is a 0. So between 0 and 100,000, 70,500 is going to be closer to 100,000 because it's bigger than 50,000, right? Okay. Next, 10,000. We've got 70,000 or 80,000. 70,500 would be closer to 70. In the middle is 75,000. Does that make sense? That one's a little bit tricky because you're thinking, you were probably thinking this is in the middle, but that's not yet. That's the next one. Okay, then we have the thousands place. So we have 70,000, 80,000. Is 70,500 closer to 70,000 or 80,000? Audrey?
80,000.
80,000. And last is the hundreds place. So 705, whoops. 705, 706, 2 zeros, 2 zeros. Which one's it closer to? Which one of these is this closer to?
70,500.
Because that's what it is, right? All right. So make sure you've got that copied down. Your practice page is 184, problem number 4.